Hey, what's up, everybody? So, welcome to part two of whatever I called this create full stack apps with an AI dev team. We're using GPT Pilot to do this. And in the last, if you haven't seen the first video, go back and watch the first video, part one, where we kind of do the setup, get everything ready to go, and then we start creating our app. And in this one, we are creating sort of a security or cybersecurity dashboard, right? And all we've done so far is we have created the outline. So it went through and it created the outline and created the plan or the development plan. And then it started building a basic framework. And then so we're going to pick up where we left off. And again, I don't know if we're going to how far we're going to get. I don't know how many episodes are going to be in this series, but we'll see. Another thing is there was a comment left that was a very good question, which is how do we do this if because of cost? How do we do this if we want to do this with a local model instead of the expense of going through and doing this with the OpenAI API and the GPT models? And I covered that very briefly in the first video on how to where you would use a local model and you would combine that with something like LM Studio, which is really great for loading up local models and then mimicking the same type of endpoint call syntax that OpenAI uses. So we'll cover that later. So at the end of this series, we'll do an app with a local model, but I'll be honest with you. So number one, I'm doing this using the GPT models for now for the speed of inference. And so just to have the speed. And again, if I'm being honest, I think GPT-4 still has the most accuracy. I don't think that open source models yet have the same level of quality output that GPT-4 or the GPT-4 Turbo is going to have. And so I think we're getting there, maybe with like open sourcing of Grok and also with maybe Llama 3 coming out, we might get there. But we'll try it out and I'll show you exactly how to use local open source models for this process at the end of this series. So let's go ahead and dive in to what we have been doing. And if you remember from the last episode, what we did was when we created the main app, it created a workspace. And I'm not using my little yellow bouncy ball, but I think it'll be okay. So it created this workspace. Let's go here. Right here, the CyberSec dashboard. Now, if you're developing multiple apps with this, it's going to create a workspace for each one. And so, but here's our CyberSec dashboard, and it gave us an app ID to reference whenever we want to resume. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to resume this. So we're going to just click enter. And see, it said loading the projects. Did you make any changes to the CyberSec dashboard project files since last time you used Pythagoras? And the answer is no. So it should pick up where we left off. And so it automatically grabbed that chat. And if you remember last time, it gave us these steps. And I did go ahead and run this and checked. And instead of using the curl, wherever it was, it gave us a curl command to check, or it wanted us to check the, let me make sure I loaded the right one. Yeah, I did. Okay. So it wanted to have us check it. And so I'm going to just go ahead and say that it is and it's good so that we can watch it continue to work. So I'm just going to type continue. And so the next part of the task implementation is to create a new view for the file upload. I see Alex says, while generating test scripts puts it ahead of a whole lot of dev places I've heard of. So yeah, like I said before in last episode, it will actually generate actual test scripts and run it'll test it itself. But I don't have that set up, so it asks me to run the tests. And what it's doing now, it's creating an interface and an option to upload data. Now, and I have noticed that sometimes it will it wants you to navigate directly to the URL, and it doesn't provide a button, and so I might have to just manually add that. So instead of having to constantly go to the URL, I'll just put it in the menu, and I'll show you that in a minute if we have to. So it's going through, as you can see there, it's talking to the human proxy, saying, hey, it correctly does this thing, so apply it. And now it's going to ask us to run it and test it. And it's going to ask us to upload a file. I didn't prepare any files to upload, so we'll just, I don't know, I'll find something. I didn't even think about preparing a file ahead of time. All right, so it wants us to start the server, and obviously the expected result there, open your web browser and visit the login page, which there is a menu button for the login page. And then we've already registered, so we should be able to just log in and then look for the upload file link in the navigation bar. So there's a question. Unless I misunderstood, GPT Pilot is pretty much exclusively focused on web apps, not, for instance, game playing engines. That's correct, although you can tell it to build a game, and maybe we'll do that somewhere else, and we'll actually generate a game. But yeah, it's exclusively web apps, and I noticed that it pretty much almost exclusively uses Node.js, Bootstrap, and MongoDB and Mongoose. So I did try to experiment with it and try to get it to use Svelte, and it doesn't do very well with that. And that's because the way GPT Pilot is set up, it already has a systematic structure in place to use those things. And that's what helps it kind of automatically create, all of this structure here. So, all right. So let's look at that. Let's go R, pirate command, R. All right. So it loaded, and we'll just go ahead and let me bring that up over here. Sorry. And it should. All right. Hopefully you can see that okay. So we'll go ahead and click login. And I think here and PASSWRD. All right. So there we have the upload file. No, we don't want to save that. All right. So upload file, it's there. And it says page not found. There we go. R. So, yep. Let's make sure that that's what it's asking us to do again. Click the upload file link. Yep. So you should be taken to a new page with the heading upload file. This page should contain a form with a file input labeled select file upload and a submit button. So we're not seeing that. Okay. Have we paid off the demo gods? I don't know. We'll see. So we're going to stop that. And it's going to go through this again, and it's going to ask us if everything is okay. So let's say when clicking the upload file link. It says page not found, right? All right, so it's probably going to ask us if we have any logs. So I need to probably open that up. Let's go ahead and hit F12 to bring up our console. And let's try this again. Oh, I'm not. Well, I would have to run this again. So you know what? Let's do. That's not right. Hold on. 1 second. We need to go back into here. Let's just bring this down. And let's go here. And I should be able to. Let's just run it here. I think, yeah, I need to go to CD workspace. I need to go CD workspace and then into, there we go. Let's run npm start. Okay. So now we should be able to load that back. All right, there we go. Upload file. All right, and there's, yeah, it's strictly just a page not found error. So let's be sure and tell it that. And it gives a 404 error and says page not found. All right, we'll feed it that and let's see what it does. I don't believe there were any logs from the back end, were there? Yeah, there's no relevant error logs on the back end. All right, so no relevant logs on the back end. And on what page does this issue happen? I believe it's the login page. Would it be? Yeah, it's upload, right? So /upload. All right, while it's doing that, don't forget later on today at 3 p.m. U.S. Central Daylight Time, we have the Tabletop Tuesday, which will be doing Battlestar Galactica. So another themed tabletop just to have some fun with it, which I know very little about Battlestar Galactica, so I'm going to rely on my colleagues that know more about it to run that one. And then also, so my book, ChatGPT for Cybersecurity Cookbook, officially releases on Friday. So if you've purchased the Kindle version, it will show up in your Kindle account on Friday. If you've ordered the physical version, it should ship and arrive on Friday. So you should get it on release day. All right, so it's correcting the errors, hopefully. And again, you know, the way that I'm doing this, I'm not trying to help it. I'm just letting it do everything on its own. So like when I use Aider, which is another coding kind of co-pilot system, it's not quite as automated as this is. And so I do a lot of back and forth with it. And if I notice that it's making a mistake just from my coding experience, then I'll just do it on my own. And what I typically do when I'm writing apps and writing code, I'll use I'll use GitHub Copilot to kind of baseline my code. And then even if I know how to write the code, a lot of times if I just give it a comment of what this next thing does and then hit enter, it will write the code for me, but it does a lot faster and sometimes more accurately than what I can do. And then of course, if I don't know how to do something, it'll do it. And so then I use that as a baseline, and I use that most often. But if there's something that more complex that involves multiple files, then I'll use Aider to kind of do a multiple, because it'll go through, it references the code and it looks at all the different files and functions, and it's just more comprehensive. But GitHub Copilot will also understand what code you've written, and it references everything. So, but working hand in hand, I like the way they work. Yeah. So Alex says, not to mention about your keyboard anti-dexterity there, Clint. Yeah, exactly. Because I'm definitely known for mistyping things and fat fingering things a lot. All right, so yeah, there's a lot going on here. We'll see what it does. All right, looks like it's going to be asking me to do a lot. So, all right. And it's still going. Yes, it's all imported properly, I guess. So this is part of the debugging process. Wave my hat at it. No, I don't think I'm going to take my hat off. All right. I also forgot to refill my coffee cup before we started this. So I don't get to sit here and take sips of coffee while I'm watching this thing work. So that annoys me. All right. And it's really going. I'll tell you another thing, that this makes a lot less errors. Aider sometimes has an issue referencing your code directly, and it makes assumptions in it, and then it can't do its diff and its match and replace. So you have to help it out sometimes. Whereas I have yet to see GPT Pilot unable to properly reference the code as it exists. So it seems to be able to reference the code very well and understand what's there, make the appropriate changes, or at least what it thinks are the appropriate changes. So that's cool. And Aider is just if GPT Pilot had more functionality than the standard, I know, don't jinx it, I know. But if GPT Pilot had the standard, more capability, instead of this standard template version where it only uses Node.js and MongoDB and all that, I think GPT Pilot would be absolutely superior. But you are limited, unfortunately, it seems like, to just Node.js web apps and a very specific framework. But Aider, it has that flexibility, but it doesn't have the accuracy and quite the multi-agent functionality with the reviewer. And it's less of a fully functional, full stack multi-agent developer platform, whereas that's what GPT Pilot is. So I really wish GPT Pilot could do a lot more than just web apps, and it would. But anyway, you just got to kind of pick your tools, pick your evils. All right, so yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to register, log in. All right, so it says look for the upload file link in the navigation bar. Yes, if we click on it, it verifies the link is. So yes, I did that. Okay, and now we're going to do this again. You should be taken to a new page. Okay, so same thing, right? I'm going to first do it over here so it doesn't do the whole reload thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do it over here. Oh, we've already done that, didn't we? So let's go ahead and reload that. Another thing about using Bootstrap, so like I work in Svelte a lot, or Svelte a lot, which also uses Vite. And what it does when you're running the server and you make changes, it'll dynamically upload the web app that you're working on. And here you do have to do page refreshes because it's using Bootstrap. It's just a little bit different. I'm getting to the point where I love the simplicity of Bootstrap, but it's really templated and it's really limited. I'm getting to the point where I really like Svelte and Vite together. So that's why I wish maybe I'll try to start. I'll try to work on an app to where I can see if I could force it to use Svelte. All right, so let's go back here. Let's go back to our initial page, and we're already logged in. Let me log out and just log back in to check this. Super, okay, just how about never? My super secure password. All right, click upload file. There we go. So that worked. Does it tell us to actually upload anything? Okay. This page should you should be taken to a new page. Upload file. This page should obtain a form with a file input field labeled select file to upload and submit a button labeled upload. This confirms. Okay. So, all right. So it doesn't do anything yet, as far as I know. It just gives us this. So if I click that, okay. Choose. Oh, oops. Okay, cool. So it does say we can choose a file. All right, cool. So that works. All right. So next, let's tell it to continue and go to the next steps. So what we're going for, at least to start with, is just an app where users can register and log in. There's no restrictions, no validation. Like, we're just considering this kind of a local trusted app. And there will end up being two panes, right? Or two panels. On the left panel, it'll have all the documents that you've loaded, and you can click on those do things. So we'll figure that out as we go. And on the main pane in the right side is where it'll show data analysis dashboards and maybe a chat interface where we can chat with that data. So, but we gave it a basic framework to start with. Question, this is probably getting a bit too far ahead. So say, can those manual test scripts be turned into automatic regression tests? So supposedly, yes. Supposedly, it does create a testing engine, and somewhere in here, did it create the test framework? So I didn't do it in this one, but I know that I had other. I did have in other ones that I built. I think, I don't know, one of the other things I was working on, it built a testing framework, and it looks like that it had the potential to do automatic regression testing. So that's one thing I want to experiment with, is to see if it can really handle automated testing, if it can develop a test framework. And so that would be kind of cool. All right, so let's go ahead and cancel out of this. And now we will, hold on real quick. Let me just, all right. All right, so now we'll just tell it continue. It worked. So it automatically figured out the problem and automatically fixed it. All right. It's going to be interesting. Looks like now it's going to create some visualization functionality for CSV files. I'm excited to see this. I'm going to have to find a CSV file that's sanitized. Yeah, where am I going to find? I wonder what kind of dev. I should be able to find something. So, in fact, while it's doing this, I'm going to look for a file. Where would I put that? Or how would I do this? I know I have some CSV files somewhere that I used. I think. Did we use a CSV file in one of the courses? All right, let me go check. Do you remember what you can remember which course it was, which class, which, let me see. See, this is a nice thing. Look, I have this thing over here working while I'm on other tasks. So it's kind of cool. So we're going to go into the mastering. So that's another thing too. So just FYI, all of this is part of the ICS. Oh, it's the ICS masterclass. Anyway, so all of this is part of my cybersecurity. What did it do there? It wants to install CSV parser. We'll let it do that. Yes. There we go. It installed it automatically. Yeah. So all this is part of my Mastering AI for Cybersecurity course. And this is all also, which is a companion course to the book coming out. And this is actually a project that we were scheduled to do later on in the course as the course finishes. But it turns out GPT Pilot came out, and I wanted to go ahead and start the process with GPT Pilot. What I was really going to do, and what I think is going to be better suited for the course, is we're going to do one from scratch using all Python, and we're going to use probably Flask to build a front end for it. And so we'll do another one of those. And like I said, I mean, look, I am behind. I admit I am behind on getting the core curriculum videos all uploaded and done. But as part of the course, you are going to be, I guess, privy to all the source code, everything that we do. So we're doing this one live. We're doing a few of these live, but a lot of the courses are only for subscribed students, and also and that's where you get access to the source code, and that's where you'll get access to not only recorded videos but also live streams. And I try to do live streams once a week. All right, so let's go to the ICS masterclass. It's another course I teach. It's the ICS OT Cybersecurity Masterclass, and somewhere in there, I have. It's going to be under the vulnerability assessment part, I think. If somebody can peruse through there. Somebody who has access to the ICS Masterclass, peruse through there and help me find those CSV files. I want to say it's vulnerability management. I think it's under vulnerability management. No, I got PDFs. Is it under videos? Any resources under the videos? While it's doing its thing over there, I am looking for my CSV file. Yep. All right, it's still working over there, so that's fine. It's giving me time to actually find the CSV. I thought it would be under vulnerability. Yeesh. Yeah, I'm not finding it. You know what, though? I think it might be in a different area. I might be able to actually find it on my hard drive somewhere. Glasses. And I think so. Okay, it's about to end there, so it's gonna need this CSV file pretty soon. Not finding it. All right, I'll get to that in just a minute. Really trying to find the CSV file, and I don't see it anywhere. I found miter mapping. What is this? That's not what I was looking for. Oh, I think I found it. All right, I found a template for. Let me just look and see what this is. Yeah, that should be fine, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. All right, it's vulnerability data from an assessment. All right, so what do we do here? File upload. I guess we'll start here. It wants us to do a file upload and to choose a CSV file and click the upload button. After the file is uploaded, you should be redirected to a confirmation page showing a file uploaded successfully message. Then navigate to the CSV analysis section by clicking on the appropriate link/button that takes you there, if applicable or if available in the navigation bar or homepage. So we might have to add that. If not directly accessible, modify the URL in the browser. So let's go ahead and copy this. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Let's go ahead and copy this link. I guess, I'm afraid to hit control. Let's see, will I just copy it there? Yeah, there it goes. Okay, perfect. All right, I didn't want to control C out of my app here. And then you should see a list of uploaded CSV files with each file having a visualize button next to it. Ooh, click the visualize button next to the list of the listed CSV files. You should be taken to a page that displays a chart or graph visualizing the data. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So, all right, let's try this out. I'm hoping it's supposed to be in panels, right? We're supposed to see, I don't know, we can adjust that later. But yeah, let's see if this works. Kind of excited to see this. All right, so I'm going to go to the upload file. We're going to choose a file. I wonder if I can just drag and drop a file into there. So let's just go and, can I? Does it do that? Yeah. There was an error serving a request. Okay, maybe let's go back and actually choose the file. Here, I'm going to do this offline real quick. Okay, choose that same file. Okay, yeah, okay, so we're getting a 500 internal server error and in the console logs, that's good. We have some, okay. No such file. GPT upload. So it does that. Just to make sure that we are doing it properly, let me go into the full process of, let's log out. Okay. Do a hard cache refresh. Let's go through the full process. Okay, now let's upload a file. We'll choose that file. Upload. Okay, same thing. All right, cool. So let's tell it what's going on. Let's go ahead and actually, it would probably do it. Yeah, in this case, since we do get that error, and I don't want to have to copy and paste the error, so I'm just going to go ahead and terminate here. And instead, I'm going to tell it, yeah, let's run this so that then we can feed it the error automatically. So we'll go here, we'll reload, choose a file here, open, upload. Okay. So now, yeah, it's going to get the error. So now when we Control C out of this, there we go. And then, yep, can we start debugging? Yes. Let it do its thing. So it looks like it uploaded, but it looks like it didn't store that file locally. So if we go over here just to, oops, that's the wrong one. So yeah, it looks like it never uploaded a file anywhere. It should have, I guess it, according to this, it's saying that it should have. Oh, uploads? Yeah. So yeah, it never created an uploads directory as far as I can tell. That's the problem. Okay. So what's it saying to do here? Yeah, so verify the uploads directory exists in the root folder. So it didn't create a new directory. Okay. So if it doesn't, create a new directory name uploads at the root of the project. All right. So let's do that. Let's manually just create the uploads folder. Come on. Okay. Uploads. All right. So now let's rerun it and see if that works. I'll go ahead and run it from here just in case. All right. There we go. So maybe it just didn't create the uploads directory. I was expecting that it was already there. And let's go ahead and check this out. And file upload. Yep. Choose the file. Upload. There we go. Okay. Let's double check. So it says, okay. Now that worked very nicely. If we look in the uploads, oh, sorry, I went too far. Yep, there's the file. Okay, excellent. So now I need to check for analyze. So we're going to navigate manually to the, where was it? Should just be analyze. I think that's just the, where did it tell us to go? Oh, analysis. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and make a link there just so I can make it easier. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the code. And I'm going to just kind of extend this real quick. And I'm going to go to, I think it's going to be under routes. Oh, no. Sorry. It's going to be in the views. And it's going to be, should be in the partials and in the header. So, yep, there it is. So, and login. So upload file. I'm going to go ahead and notice it checks to make sure there's a session. So I'm going to copy this there, and I'm going to call this one analyze. And this is going to go to analysis. I'm going to save that. Let's bring It's back over here. All right, so now we're going to navigate back over here. All right, so we see analyze there. So we click there, and we do have that, our CSV. Let's click visualize. This is going to be interesting. So it does start to. This is exciting. It's actually starting to create this, but we do get some errors here. Okay, so that's interesting. Let's go ahead and copy these because I'm sure it's going to ask us what that is. Okay, so we'll copy that, and we'll go here, and we don't have any errors. We don't have any server side errors. Question here, why aren't the error messages turning up on the main page? Because it hasn't done that yet. Yeah, I mean, there should be, I agree, we should have some error handling on the main page, but it hasn't gotten there yet, but I'm sure it will from experience working with this. So we are getting the following client side errors. Good thinking. Good thinking. That's proper app design. Thank you for the question. All right, so we'll do that, and no server side errors. Right? It's going to ask me what's the expected behavior, or oh, well, no, it's not. So this time, I guess it had enough information. So instead of asking me to provide more information, it just went straight to working on trying to solve the problem. So that's good. So it doesn't always ask you to clarify expected behavior, etc. Can I not extend that anymore? Oh, well, I guess not. There we go. Okay. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, right? Right now, we're just going to have it provide some rudimentary analysis, and then we'll, add widgets and a dashboard, and then give it AI chat functionality, and maybe be able to dynamically generate different types of graphs and charts based on your input in chat. So there's another off the wall question, specifically labeled as an off the wall question. We've seen GPT elicit requirements. Can it debug those requirements? Meaning what? What do you mean by it has elicited requirements? Okay. It wants to just execute this command with a timeout. So it's just testing to see if it'll run. Okay, fine. Well, that's weird. Yes. Okay, but it's going to time out rather quickly, as far as I can tell. What are you trying to do here? Okay, chart rendered successfully, but we've got no visualization. So it didn't actually do anything. So that's cool. I mean, okay, so we just got to tell it, like, it's just not producing any sort of visualization. Now, we didn't tell it what to do. I'm relying on this application, and it's quite possible. That's interesting. It's quite possible that it's not doing detailed analysis yet. It's just seeing if it works, and I think that's possible. Okay, so it did that. What did it? Yes, it did that. Okay, what are you trying to do? Why are you caught in a loop? Okay. let's go here. Let's do hard fresh. Yeah, okay. Analyze, visualize. Yeah, so it's working. It's just not working. Okay. All right, so let's see what it actually wants us to do. So we're doing that. You should see a list. Yes, okay. Click the visualize button next to one of the listed CSV files, expected result. You should be taken to a page. Yes, it does that. The page should have a title indicating you are visualizing the chosen file, and below it, a graphical representation of the CSV data, a bar chart with labels and values taken from the file. I don't know how to answer this one. I think it might be working, but I'm not sure exactly what I'm supposed to be seeing. It does generate an analysis graph with no errors, but there is no data actually being represented. Okay. Now it's gonna ask me all sorts of questions. Or not. Oh, yeah, there it is. Can you please provide the logs from the front end? Sure. There is, I mean, that's it. Um, can you provide the log from the back end? I mean, I don't think that there was. Let's do this. I think that's good enough. Yeah. All right, so there's that. Completely sure if it's supposed to actually provide data visualization at this point with actual analysis, and I'm only seeing a graph with no data. I'm seeing a graph being generated with no errors, but no data is actually represented. Slash analysis. You know, and it never did like ask me like what, and this is the part that I was curious if it was going to happen or not. I didn't know if it was going to be able to automatically create a function that can look at the data and analyze that data without input from me on specifically what I'm trying to have it analyze, because that's tricky. All right. So GPT Pilot seems to have no problem asking you what's it supposed to do. All well and good. Can it handle / detect contradictory requirements, for instance? I don't know. I have seen it, the human proxy here as it's analyzing things. I have seen it go back, look at the code, and tell the developer agent, hey, you did this and this and this, but it doesn't necessarily meet the requirement, or the code you did here is going to break it because we need this thing for later and we did that. So it looks at mistakes that the developer did, but I haven't necessarily seen it um, identify contradictory requirements. But I haven't really tested for that either, and I'm not really sure if I've had, I guess, a session to where I had any of those. I don't know. So that would be a good test to try to figure out somehow. Yeah. See, I don't think it's going to be able to create a dynamically generated graph that can just look at the data that's there and analyze it and create that dynamic analysis based on what's in the file. I think you probably need some LLM input for that and some function calling, which it can't do. It's all coding applications, Aider, all of them, the GPT Pilot, they're very bad at understanding how to integrate OpenAI API call and functionalities into this without your input. It doesn't know the most recent techniques and all of that. Um, so um, the other thing too is just here's a trick, right? So if like we may have to resort to this, but if you go to the if you have a GPT Plus account and you use GPT-4 and you're using the advanced data analysis, advanced data analytics, and you take that same CSV file and you upload it into ChatGPT and you say, give me some meaningful analysis off this, it can do that automatically. So the trick would be to do that, and then it'll show you the work. It'll show you the Python script output that it used to produce that. Then you can copy that and use that as your kind of baseline for, hey, here's the function we should use to dynamically generate this. Now, I have not tested this yet, and I don't know whether or not there's also some LLM NLP going on in the background to help produce that dynamically, or if it's using pure Python script to dynamically analyze that. So that'll be another thing that'll be interesting to see is can it create that? So, and here's what I would think, that if GPT-4 can do that, if it can create a dynamic data visualization based on a file you uploaded in ChatGPT that is not reliant upon further NLP agent-based communication, if it just, because I think what it's probably doing on the back end, it's probably taking that data, it's having the NLP, sorry, it's having the GPT model analyze it, and then from there dynamically generate a script to do that. And maybe that's what we have to do here, right? Maybe we'll have to take that data, first send that data to a language model to analyze that data, and then have it dynamically generate a script to visualize that data. Now we're talking, and if we're doing this in an app, we're talking about self-modifying code, which used to be, a fantasy concept for the most part. But I mean, right now with LLMs and GPT, I don't see why we can't generate a self-modifying code. Now, also keep in mind, and I forgot, we're not using Python here; we're using Node.js. So, but what's to keep us from having a Python script on the back end that can be dynamically generated by an LLM, and then use that Python script then to populate the data in the graphs here? So there's all sorts of things I think we can do. So the chat says, so going back to a classic, the year shall be stored in 4 digits. Yep, the old Y2K stuff over in segment A, and the year shall be, that's a good example of contradictory requirements. Exactly. So, all right. Alex says, Clint, I'm getting shades of you living in a cyberpunk novel. Hey, maybe so. Maybe I'm going to create the Blade Runner reality. All right. All right. So input field to choose CSV file. Ensure this CSV file contains at least some data formatted with label. Oh, so it wants, that's why it wants the label to contain, it wants it to have label and value columns for visualization. And click the upload button. Expect a result after the file is uploaded. You should be redirected. Yes. And then, so we don't have this. So that's what I want to do. I really wanted to make it dynamic. I want to make the analysis dynamic. And I'm going to see if I can make it do that. Yeah. So, all right, let's check this. Let's run it. I'm just going to use the same file. I'm not going to modify it. I'm not going to try to make it have these certain fields because the goal is to have it dynamically analyze the CSV file and come up with its own analysis. So that might be interesting. So let's see if we can tell it to do that. But first, and looks like we'll have to end up doing that next. All right. So this error here is just because we don't have a favorite icon, a fave icon.ico file. That's no big deal. So go here, analyze, visualize. Yeah, see, it's still doing that. Okay. And not a problem. Oh, look at this. That's interesting. That's really interesting. So yeah, it just creates all these null values, whatever that is. Yeah. So that's interesting. It's like it got close. It's more than we had before. So that's really interesting. All right. So here, let's tell it. Yeah, I know we're running up on our hour, but I'm going to see if I can try and get it to do this one thing. Duplicate path in the modified first. Is it just redoing all of this? All right. Yeah, I'm going to give it one last instruction and see if I can get it to do this. And like I said, we may have to continue next session, but I mean, we made some more progress for sure. All right. Yeah. That's fine. Look at that. Only a few more minutes before I get to go get my coffee. Excited about that. And then this afternoon, we get to do Auto Tabletop Tuesday or Tabletop Tuesday with Auto Tabletop. Okay. So, what I want to tell it is okay. The current functionality requires the CSV file to have a, what was that, a label, a data field? What was it? Right here, it needs to have, well, I'll just do this. Have specific values such as label. Was it label and value? I want to get it right so I don't confuse it. Was it label and value? Where did it tell me that? I just saw it up here. That I saw it. If you guys remember what it was, let me know. It was specifically, it asked for labels. Label and value. Okay. Thank you. All right, so let's go back to that and all right. Label and value in order to render. Ooh, render. Reindeer. All right, render the analysis. However, I'd like it to be more dynamic, meaning I'd like it to generate dynamically generate the data analysis slash visualization based on the contents of the file. Since each file can be different, this would be I don't know if it can do this. Oh, look at it. So it's not even asking me for questions. It's just going straight forward, taking my feedback and automatically putting that in. So it does seem like columns uses the information. It might be able to do this. But I like how, and I think that when you're going through and you are giving it feedback, it looks like the more detailed information that you can give it in when it's asking for feedback or to say continue, then the less need it has, less it's less apt to ask you follow-up questions. But the follow-up questions are fine, they're good, but they're kind of the same all the time. Hey, show me the front end logs, show me the back end logs. But like as you can see here now, it's not showing me, it's not asking me those questions. So that's kind of cool. So curious to see. All right, so we'll just do this last one, see how it turns out, and then we'll call this one a finished episode. Also, it aligns well with the instructions. This hunk introduces placement. Must be talking about me. All right, it wants it to rework something. Yeah, see, I could be sitting here telling jokes or doing something else while it works. But I do that a lot when I'm working with these tools now that can do a lot. Just sit there and scroll and work, and it's multi-agent behavior. So I'll just set it on a task and have it work while I'm doing other things. And so this, I mean, if you're writing code and you're developing apps, this literally, the old saying, wish I can clone myself. Well, wish were there were two of me. This literally allows you to run parallel tasks all at once, right? So you can literally be writing code and developing app while you're doing something else. When you see it finishes, you go over there. And so it's almost like you're supervising multiple tasks. And you can do this with more than just these apps, right? You can actually go through and create multi-agent applications that do other things, check email, so if you can start to have, okay, you have a system here that does your coding and it's working on tasks, and then you have another multi-agent system that you develop. And yeah, we will get into developing multi-agent systems for doing other things, like developing our own agents, our own assistants to do things. Then you can have like an email checker and responder. You can have, tons of things. All the tasks that you have to do in a week if you can automate it with large language model functionality, generative AI functionality, then you can create applications that will completely automate a lot of these things you do. And you could clone yourself. You could be working in all these parallel tasks. So that's my goal anyway. My goal is to be able to do that. All right. So let's see. It just kind of says do that, right? It just says didn't give me any. All right. Well, all right. Well, let's see. Here, app start R. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's do a hard reset and then analyze and boom. Oh, yeah, so we got this. All right, so let's give it this error. I want to see it at least do something. Okay, call it quits. Oops. Okay, so I got the following client side error. I give it these double quotes like that and I paste it because see, it says, you're about to paste multiple lines. If you don't put it in quotes like that, then you don't actually get, whenever it gets a new line or a carriage return, instead of giving it the full data, wherever the data has a new line, it hits enter, it simulates the hitting enter and you lose all that. So you want to put it in quotes. Well, that's good. So didn't ask me questions. All right, come on, let's get through this. Let's see. We're running quite a bit over what I wanted to. I wanted to keep these episodes around an hour, but I really want to see kind of at least get to a point where there's no errors, right, on this one. So let's see here. So probably on at least more than one live stream that I do, not just for students. So if you're a student of my Mastering AI for Cybersecurity course, then you will get a free copy of my book. And then my regular attendees here on these streams will get an autographed copy of the book. But what I am going to do is, it reminds me, I owe some autographed copies of my last book to some people, and I forgot to ship those out. I'm in trouble. Okay. Well, if you're one of those people, sorry, got you covered. However, on some of these live streams, I'm going to do some kind of random giveaways to where I will do I'll send out signed copies of my book to winners. And oh, look at that. Oh, that's kind of cool. Anyway, and I'll pay for shipping and everything. So even overseas. All right. What is this asking me to do now? So input required on line 33, type bar. Okay. So line, etc. Interesting. So I would like it to be able to just like maybe you tell it, maybe it asks you what kind of things you want to generate. So maybe, but for now, I'll go ahead and hard code that in. So line 33 on but where? Analysis, sorry. So let's do that. Let's go to the analysis. So public should be public. No, is it in JS? Yeah, analysis. All right, there it is. So line 33, right here, type bar. Okay, well, all right. Well, it already did that. That's fine. Okay, so it looks like it already did that. That's fine. It just wants me to specify. Okay. So now it wants Please also remove the input required comment. Okay. Why can't you do that? That's kind of a, come on. All right, fine. You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do this. Specify. And, oh. Let's word wrap that. That's fine. And then we probably don't need this input required. So all these input required things can be removed. This is just cleanup. There's no reason why we have to remove these, but it asked us to. So anyway, we can kind of all right. Save that out and then go back over here and okay. Or press continue. That's fine. Line 34. Oh, yeah. So I already did that. Thank you. I already did that. Thank you. Let's finish this up. I want my coffee. Can you get hangry with coffee? Like you get hungry and you're angry when you're hungry. It's called hangry. What is it if you're angry because you don't have coffee? Caffeine angry? I don't know. Okay. So verify if visualized IDHS was correctly linked. Yeah, I mean, all right, come on. Just want to see something. All right, let's go back here, do a hard reset, analyze, boom, and no. Yeah, let's just real quick. Yeah, it's still doing the same thing. So it's one of those things where I could sit here and mess around with it all day long and continue to tweak it and mess with it. And next thing you know, like 3 hours of the video have gone by. Yeah, all right, we're still having an issue. So, all right, I'm going to, it does have at least 2 columns. It's like really weird. All right, should I just continue and give this one more test, or should I end the stream and just pick it up next time? I really want to get past this error. What I should do. All right, all right, I'll give it the error one more time. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna. Alex says he suggests pulling it here, arguing with it off screen, and smugging about it next episode. I might do that. I'll see what this results in, and then I'll probably mess around with it a little bit off screen. And I don't know. I just kind of want to see. I want you to see if it fixes itself in the entire process. But all right, I'll give it this one last chance, and if it doesn't work, then I'll end this stream. I really like doing this right now because using the automated, because I'm not under any pressure to write proper code. I'm not, all of my demo god failures happen when I'm writing code on the fly and coming up with stuff on the fly and saying, oh, let's try this, let's do this, and then I can't get it to work, or I forget how to do something, I forget how to reference something off the top of my head, and you guys have seen those episodes where I'm like, oh, how do I do this? And I mess something up. And here I'm under no pressure. I just narrate what it's doing. I just follow its instructions and just do what it tells me to do and let it make all the mistakes. All right. But now I feel justified that, if the AI can't always get it right, doesn't know what it's doing, then it's okay if I don't know what I'm doing. So, all right, let's check it one more time. If this doesn't work, then we'll end it and just see what happens. Drum roll, please. Yeah, it's the same thing. So, data doesn't have enough columns to generate. All right, so, well, and I know it does. We know it has enough columns, right? Because we look at that data. It's got several columns, right? So, but they're not labeled. So maybe that's what it needs. Maybe there's no. Maybe we just need to make sure it has a label. Maybe that's what it is. All right. Anyway, I'll work with it because I really do. And this would be a lot to try to feed GPT. I don't know. Maybe now at the 128,000 tokens, it might not be. But you know what? Before we end this, I just want to show you. Let's just try this real quick. Because we don't have any labels here, but so I want to just do this real quick. No, don't save. All right. I do want to open up Chat GPT. And let's go here and let's grab this file. And let's just say create meaningful and useful data visualizations and an analysis of the data in this CSV file. All right. There it goes. So I know it can do it. So you can have it show its work. Let's see. Look at that. And it's like, see, it's using pandas, but Node.js doesn't have pandas. So we may have to tell it. Yep. So it's doing more. So this is kind of what I want to happen, right? In this app, kind of replicate this functionality. And this is why I like, look at that. I mean, what? It created a word cloud. That's crazy. Frequency of vulnerabilities by port number. Look at that. So we could massage the data a little more and be like, hey, if it looks like that it's, I don't know, there's vulnerabilities, then so it'll do that. And it did all this with just pandas, right? So it got the information using pandas, and it did, matplot library, uses all these. That's cool. So yeah, I know, word cloud. That's funny. So can the same type of visualization be generated for Node.js? We would need data related to Node.js vulnerability. No. I meant, can the analysis and the code to, and I know it can, I'm just seeing what it'll say, to create such visualizations be and served through Node.js. Yes, I know that. Okay, process data. So it's using the same things, CSV port. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I agree. The longer I pat myself on the back, the longer I delay my coffee. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this here. So we had a little bit of success, right? So last episode we went from being able to log in um, to just successfully log in, and then this episode we actually got the file upload process working, and it will analyze the CSV and it'll create a bar graph. But it's having some trouble creating the bar graph. So maybe next what I'll do is um, I will, and it looks like this code here is very similar to what it did. So next episode, what we'll do is maybe I'll just try to give it a little more information. Say, hey, okay, let's just start with vulnerability files, right? So we're going to upload this. We're going to tell it is specifically related to vulnerability analysis, and we'll tell it exactly what data we want to extract from it. So we're not really producing dynamically yet, but at least maybe we'll be able to say, hey, let's have vulnerability analysis files uploaded. Well, let's have risk assessment files uploaded, and it can appropriately analyze each of those files based on the data, maybe asset data. So we may have to be explicit at first and then move into the more dynamic generations, maybe using LLMs. So we'll see. So anyway, all right, thanks for watching live. If you're watching on recording, thanks for watching. Don't forget to go check out my course at cybersuperhuman.ai if you want to have more access to this, learn more. Be sure to check out my new book coming out, ChatGPT for Cybersecurity Cookbook, which drops Friday. And thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Take care.